funny, but it definitely ain't for everybody.
Ready?
Here.
We Eating presents the Free99 podcast. Be sure to follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Twitch, and Instagram. Search FRE99 podcast. Shout out to all the sponsors. Shout out to all the listeners. Philly Phil in the building.
What up?
Mono in the building.
Great.
Episode 108 of the Free99 podcast. Special guest with us today. The first guest in a long time. Activist, educator, DJ.
Yeah.
DJ Sake1.
Hey,
yeah. Sake1 in the building. Toast,
Cheers,
toast.
cheers.
Yeah,
108.
Back in the E.
Back in the E.
Like it's the place to be. Yeah, I got a lot of history in Excelsior, man. I'm from Filmo, but I got a lot of love out here. So good to be back.
Hey, and just like a vibe check. So if like starting your history, like not just as a DJ, like you, because you're not only are you like proud Bay Area, you're a proud San Franciscan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so what high school did you go to? Like,
I went to Wash.
You went to Wash House, huh?
Yeah.
You went to Wash.
I'm old though, like different era, kind of like
Wash then was different.
It was different. It wasn't like cutty, like bad. Like I definitely like back then. In the '90s, it was like you didn't want to go to Bow. You definitely didn't want to go to Wilson.
Bow Wilson, yeah.
Bow was like cool. It was like a balance. Wilson, you didn't want to go to Galileo. Like for Filmo kids, it was like you went to Gal or you went to Wash. And so I was glad to go to Wash because I went to Roosevelt Middle School, and a lot of the people that I knew from Roosevelt, we went on to Wash together. So it was cool. But it was still the era where like riding on the 38 Geary at a certain time, get Rat Packed on the back. But I mean, it was still pretty chill. Like
pocket checks, huh?
A lot of pocket checks, a lot of like nice Jordans. What size are those? Oh, that's my size.
Yeah.
That was
size 4.
Yeah, size 4.5.
This is pre-Muni cameras for anyone listening, right? Like,
this is when Munis used to pull up. Like, if you just moved to Frisco or you're young, you're not gonna. Munis used to pull up with the windows flapping, like because people used to pull the emergency exits to hop out on some either tagging or like
some homie shit. Like, hey,
like bro, like it was like the buses were birds because they would pull up and the windows would be flapping like crack, 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 crack as they pulled up. It was hella funny, but
and it was like the real tag, white and orange, the real
bright orange and tagged from front to back. Like you seen the where the driver drives tagged up, and you're like, how did they do that? Just us being disrespectful little Frisco kids that like literally would walk up and just be like, excuse me, driver, and just like tag over him. Thank you, bro. I'm getting off now.
Yeah, this is my stop right here.
Yeah.
Let me get a transfer real quick.
Yeah, let me just get a tag right on your rear view mirror so you can't see nothing. It might,
Let me stand on your lap real quick. I get that.
Yeah, it was a different era in Frisco. I mean, I know y'all. I'm probably older than y'all, but.
We ride around the same.
Muni drivers. Like I remember a Muni driver that used to drive the one California that would smoke cigarettes while he drove. He would have his hand out the window with a cigarette, be smoking. There was a famous dude that drove the 14. It was called 30 Seconds. Legendary Muni driver because his thing was like, I'm not gonna fight with no taggers. I'm not gonna call the police on no taggers. I'm gonna give y'all 30 seconds to do your dirt.
Wow.
And so he basically be like 30 seconds. He'd park the bus at the turnaround at top of the hill, and then he'd do it, I think, at 30th, and he'd just like get off the bus, do his thing, and we'd have 30 seconds to go crazy. So if you got on the bus with him, it was like, yes.
That's smart.
Yeah, I mean, he's smart. We're like 30 seconds. He's like, what's up, y'all?
That's so. Well, that was just a good turn from.
So yeah, I went to Wash.
Yes, went to Wash.
Went to Wash. Yeah.
How did the name Sake1 come about?
It's no good story. I wish I had a good story, but I had my first tag it came from tagging.
There you go.
It was a graffiti thing, and like a lot of graffiti fools, like it's like a weird word, but it like looks good when you write it out.
Yeah.
So you meet dudes named like Spac1 or like Blap2. It's like words that are words, but
the letters look good.
Yeah,
together.
the letters look good. The letters flow good. And so I think my first tag was like, it's funny because I was like 11 or 12 when I was at Roosevelt. I started tagging cash, and then the S was like a $sign. And I thought I was so sick, bro. I was like cash, like money with a $sign. Like,
pay me, bitch.
Yeah, we get it, bro.
No, you don't like it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like the classic example too of like aspirational shit. Like I wrote cash because I didn't have no cash. Like,
and I want it.
Yeah,
I'm shooting for
another. I'm so old story. You're gonna get a lot of these today.
Please.
My first job was at the O-Fudge Candy Kitchen on Pier 39. Like a lot of Frisco kids, I got my first job at Pier 39.
Is that the one with the bear in the front?
That's the one with the taffy machine in the front. And they make the candy apples.
Oh, on Pier 39.
It's like right on Jefferson. Yeah, like right there.
That was your first job?
Yeah. So guess what I got paid per hour?
$4.25.
I'm gonna say three.
I'm older than that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say $3.25.
It was $3.30. I got $3.30 an hour. I like
Ballin'.
2 weeks. I worked every day, every summer. My goal was to get my first turntable, my first Technics 1200, which they cost around $350, $400 back then. I think I gave up on that. I got my first check. It was like $350 for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get some Jordans. I gave up on the turntables. Like, imagine working for 2 weeks and your check is $350, bro.
What made you
Like,
want to get turntables?
Yes.
So my big brother, R.I.P.
Shout out
Shout out to Adam, my big brother. He was a big influence on me, and he was like heavy into music from a young age. He really was into like Jamaican ska and reggae, and then he got into rap, and then he started getting into all different kinds of like soul and house and dance music. And I was just a rap kid. I didn't know nothing but rap. I was just like, I like LL Cool J, I like Huey MC, I like the local rappers and like the the big national rappers. Run DMC was like gods to me when I was a little kid. And my brother used to be like really into music, but he wasn't a DJ. But he would like go to the record stores and get records, and he'd be like, "Do you know about this B-side that's on the flip side? You know, you have LL Cool J's first album, but have you heard this song, Jack the Ripper?" I'm like, "No, that doesn't exist. I have all of LL Cool J's albums. There is no song called Jack the Ripper." He's like, "Nah, it's on the B-side." And he's dissing Kool Moe Dee, who you think is so tight. Like Big Brother shit, like he'd be like clowning me, like, "Oh, you think Kool Moe Dee's so tight? Listen to this." I'm like, damn, he destroyed Kool Moe Dee on that song, bro. Like, and it's a slap too, you know what I mean? So I got to the point where I was like, I need to have these songs. I just wanted to, I got that from my older brother, wanting to know every song, every artist. And so I was like, I gotta go get the 12-inch. So I got the 12-inch and I would like play it on my parents' turntable, but eventually they were like, this music's hella profane. We don't want to, so. And
what are you listening to?
Yeah, like what's with all these F words? They weren't into rap. My parents were like into jazz and like hippie. My parents were like hippie. So, so I got I was like, I need to get my own turntable. I didn't have the money to get a Techniques, and I didn't really have the game. I didn't have other homies around me that were DJing. All my homies were graffiti artists. So there used to be actually a DJ store right down the street on Mission and Ocean, right around the corner from
Creative Music.
Right around the corner from Creative Music.
Oh, it wasn't Creative.
It wasn't. They didn't sell records. They just sold DJ gear. I'm trying to remember what it was called, but yeah, Creative was there, and it was like that used to be like that was the one-stop shop. Like, and for me, being on the other side of town, it was a hype to come all the way over here to catch the 14 and come all the way up to the Excelsior and hit Creative with whatever $20, $30 I had. I could get 2 or 3 12-inches. And then I go around the corner and look at the DJ shop, but it was like everything was so expensive. They sold big Sherwin Vega speakers, because Bay Area,
Sherwin Vega speakers.
Well, here it was about the mobile sound system. Mobile sound systems was the big thing in Frisco. So like a lot of the different sound crews were like building sound systems.
Sound Clash, straight up.
Yeah. Like you talk to like Q-Bird, Shortcut, all those guys. They come out of that culture of like having a sound system because it wasn't really a nightclub scene here the way it is in New York. So we made our own clubs. Cats would go to like quinceañeras or town halls or public spaces to schools and throw parties. And to throw a party in a big space, you need to have a big sound system. So a lot of bass heavy music. That's another thing that differentiates Frisco is like we were really slapping like Stevie B alongside some of the early hip hop songs. Even you hear some of the earlys like "Gotta Be Tough" by MC Shy D, who was a rapper from Atlanta and from New York. But if you hear that song, it was a huge song in Frisco. I remember being like 12, 13, going to jams and hearing MC Shy D and "I Gotta Be Tough." Everybody sing this song, and it had and it had the really fast scratching on the hook, and that to me is like the epitome of like late 80s Frisco. Because it had the scratching, it has the bass, it's up tempo. I remember the kids doing all the dances, the Reebok and the Fila, and I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like that was before I saw like Q-Bird actually scratch, and I was like, there's no way I'm ever gonna be able to do that. So I have to like figure out another lane, in DJing. But yeah, so I went to the DJ store and I was like, I want to get a turntable, and it was like, we recommend you get a Techniques 1200. That's like the industry standard for DJs. And I was like, okay, cool. How much are they? And they were like, $400 plus tax. And I was like, oh, what do you got this cheaper? What do you got this cheaper? And I met the dudes were cool actually. They were like, bruh,
you got Geminis.
That's what I bought. I got the Gemini belt drive, which was like $99 plus tax. But I remember the dudes, shout out to them dudes. I don't remember their names, but they were like, bruh, you're going to spend $100 on this turntable and you're going to get frustrated. And then it's not a real DJ turntable. It's a belt drive. They're like, just save your money. They like didn't try to sell me.
Yeah.
They were like,
you're going to be right back. Just
they were just
hold
like,
the check.
save the 100 and put it towards the techniques. Like they were cool about that. Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, you want to spend 100? Cool. Take one of these. But I was really stubborn. So I bought the Gemini belt drive, which is a janky ass turntable, a belt drive and a direct drive. A belt drive is driven by a big rubber band inside.
Takes hella long to start
Yeah, a
out.
direct drive is a magnet and a motor, so it's like it's built for like being manipulated and touched, and the speed going up and down. A belt drive is you can play a record on it fine,
That's
but if you
about
try
it.
to touch it, the needle's gonna go boop 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 boop.
Yeah.
Throw a quarter on that.
Yeah, even then, it's like super wobbly. So, but I did have a turntable, and I was able to like start listening to the 12 inches that I had started to accumulate. I wasn't really thinking about DJing. I was just like, I want to have a turntable and listen. And then when I really got into it was when I started making tapes, and I would come to school at Wash, and I would be like, yo, check out this tape I got, and I'd have this Tribe Called Quest song that wasn't on the album, this Jungle Brothers song that wasn't on the album.
Mixtape.
Yeah, I wasn't like mixing
Tapes.
anything, but I was just, they were like pause tapes. I would
Yeah.
just like put a record on, record it, and my friends were like, yo, Sake's got all the music, he's got all the shit. Like, you know, they listened to K-Poo like I did, but it was like shit that you couldn't hear on the radio and shit that everyone was buying the tapes and the CDs, but these were like non-album cuts or remixes. Or, you know, back in the day, they do the posse cut where they, on the back of the 12-inch, like everyone in their crew would rap. And so I had all those songs. And that was when people were like, you should start DJing. So that's kind of how I backed into it. It was never something where I was like, I want to be a DJ. And again, going to like house parties and seeing cats like Q-Bird and Mixmaster Mike and
Rock the Crowd.
and DJ Disc and DJ Quest. Like, these were the best DJs that existed in the entire world. And seeing them DJ, and I was like literally, I remember having a moment watching Q-Bird at a house party, and he was just casually scratching, and I was like, I'm never gonna be able to do that. I could practice every day, and I know I'm never gonna be able to do that. He's just like on a whole nother level. And Q-Bird to this
Planet.
day, yeah, he's
Right.
yeah, he remains on another level, like in terms of the scratching. But then I started to go out to New York. My older brother moved out to New York, and I go visit him, and I started seeing that there are different kinds of DJs. There's DJs that are known more for like selections. There's DJs that are known more for like crowd control. There's radio DJs. There's mixtape DJs. And I realized that like scratch DJs weren't the only thing. There was other kinds. And battle DJs weren't the only thing. So yeah, I started to rely on my music ear, which is the one strength I have as a DJ, is that I have a good ear for music. Like,
And you can read your crowd.
yeah, sometimes I don't know that I do that as well as I'd like to, but I definitely know I'm not the best scratcher. I'm not the sickest technical DJ in the world, and I'll freely admit that. And I keep working at it to get better, but I do think I have a good ear for music. Like,
Music
I know there's
IQ.
there's songs that I played that I put my name on them. You know, I was just like, I really stand by this song, and other people were like, or people were like, I don't feel it. But, you know, 6 months, 8 months later, you know, you start hearing that song in the clubs, you start hearing it on Camiel, and, you know, that, yeah, well, that's happened enough over the last 25 years that I have confidence that, like, my ear is pretty good for that. You know what I mean?
I remember, and then just shout out to DJ Mr. E, Miguel, Alpo Star
Yep.
Poppy, friend of the show. We did an episode with him a couple, maybe like in our 50s. And then he said, like, when we asked him to mention his favorite DJs, your name came up for knowing how to read the crowd, like song selection, knowing, like, to throw on, like, in the hip-hop room, to know to throw on, like, a Michael Jackson track. You know what I mean? Like, just knowing this song will work.
Throw a
this
non-hip
vibe.
hop song on in the hip hop room.
In a real hip, but no, everyone's gonna feel it because you could feel where the crowd is vibing.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that. Miguel's an amazing DJ and one that I look up to in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to think I'm a DJ that like isn't. You hear a lot of DJs now talk about open format. That's like a very trendy phrase with DJs, especially in the sort of bottle service community and like the Vegas scene. It's like, that's not a diss.
Service community.
No, bottle service scene. I didn't mean to say community because it's definitely not a community. But like that scene where like, and it basically for me, it does feel a little bit like we don't play too much rap because that's too ghetto, like kind of a racial thing in a lot of ways. But you go to some of these bottle service clubs where, you know, just to sit down. It's like $500. You got to buy a bottle just to sit down. And those kind of people with that kind of money don't necessarily want to hear Young Thug all night. Yeah. So now you're hearing more about this. I'm an open format DJ. I kind of play a little bit of everything, which appeals to that kind of crowd. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I would like to think that before that existed, and in much more of like a grassroots type of vibe, like a Club 6 or a Milk Bar in the 90s. Storyville, that I was kind of doing that, like mixing the genres up a little just to keep people a little off on their toes. Because I used to go to like the hip hop clubs and I'm like, bruh, if I hear Shook One's Part 2 again, bruh, like I'm so tired of hearing that, you know? And it was like, I'm one of those people that likes to stir things up, and that's worked for me and that's worked against me in a lot of ways in my career. But I definitely was the dude that would play like Michael Jackson in a hip hop room, or like throw a reggae dancehall song on during an R&B type of time period, because I like to kind of keep people on their toes, and I like to keep the music in the forefront. And
I witnessed that many times at La Vende. Like on a Thursday night.
What was that, PST?
You guys made that Thursday the new Saturday and Friday. You know what I mean? That Thursday was more that Thursday night was more popping than almost any other clubs in the Bay. I remember being there, and like the We Believe Warriors came in. Steve Jackson.
That's right.
Matt Barnes, Baron Davis, and I'm like,
Baron used to come regular.
Yes, he was a regular.
He used to come regular, because he was actually a music guy. He used to come regular and like really
and he's a Cali boy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he would like vibe to the music and loved it. Steven Jackson came when it got popular, and he's from Port Arthur, Texas, so he would always send his dude to the DJ booth with a crisp $100 bill and was like, yo, Stack Jack want to hear UGK. They grew up together.
Slim Thug.
Well, it was like Port Arthur, so UGK. It was like,
would you play it?
He like grew up with them. Nah, I've just never been that dude to like take money to play songs.
I would have so taken it.
I'm just like low-key offended by that. I was like, you see everyone's dancing, we're having fun, like what's the issue? But once International Players Anthem came out, I felt like I had a UGK song that fit PST. So I would just make it a point to play that, and I'd be like, shout out Steven Jackson, and he'd be like, what's up? But I mean, he wanted to hear like UGK,
Dirty South.
And I was just like, bro, you're a PST. Like everyone knew what the vibe was. It was like very soulful.
You see the green and browns here, bro? You can't pay
exactly. It's very, very soulful, kind of like I usually at the end of the night I'd be playing house when people kind of were like ready for some like turn up hip hop, but I intentionally stayed away from that, and people would leave like, and I enjoyed that. I was like, I don't want people that come here that expecting to hear the same shit they hear in KMEL. I don't want them to like get that, because the party's gonna change, and people are just gonna be like,
and it's too tight in there for the party to change. Like, and just because you said KMEL, I remember interning there, and I would hear your name on the radio just as much, if not more, than some of the DJs that were on KMEL.
And some of the
I was
DJs
like, who is this dude?
And some of the DJs on KMEL didn't like that, bro.
I like when Sana or Chewy or Vaughn would do like the clubs for that week, and then you would hear that liner of all the clubs popping, and your name came up a lot. I remember hearing your name and not know. And this is me like 21, like in 01, like who is he here? Like I always hear his name. I want to go to his party. Is dude here? I seen the paper flyer from Manhattan Lounge. I don't know if he's
Manhattan Lounge. Wow,
I'm bringing you back right
now. Yeah, that was fun. Manhattan Lounge was fun.
Big Heart City. I don't know.
That was the one on the market, right?
Dude, Dennis. Shout out to Doodaroo, another Filmo boy, but he used to do parties there. Yeah, I had a good run in Frisco, man. I was like working a lot. You know, like the scene's changed a lot. I'm happy.
Scene's changed a lot.
Yeah, I'm happy, and I love the new DJs that have like come up now, and I feel fortunate that I'm in a position where, you know, I do still get booked. Not like I was in 2005 or 2010, but I still get booked a good amount, and I can also pick and choose what I want to do, because I'm not depending on DJing for my entire life like I was. So I can be like, you know what, if I feel like skipping a Tuesday night party where they're like, we'll pay you in drink tickets, you know, I can do some other stuff. So
some Otis. Otis right on the Tuesday night.
Oh, Otis. Yeah, I used to just be like, how are they making money here? It's so small.
They washing their cash.
Yeah. I mean, they used to pay us okay, but yeah, it felt like some off brand was going on.
You're part of a bigger scheme.
Yeah, it was like a tiny ass, really sexy space, like really well designed, but
size of the studio space.
It was like 40-30 people in there. Yeah. And the other night they chip us out $200-300, and I'm like,
that's pretty good.
really good for this because I'm like,
Did they charge?
And you're not charging the cover, and the drinks were like they were expensive,
cheap?
but it
Yeah.
wasn't normal. And I was like, yeah, there's some drug dealer probably
They're
laundering
washing,
their money here, but I got no problem with that as long as.
As long as my money's
Yeah,
clean.
just don't tell me. I don't know. I don't know nothing. I'm just here to
Yeah.
play music. But yeah, it used to be fun. There was like a little upstairs. And you used to get like the occasional celebrity used to come there. I'm trying to remember who.
It was small and sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was
It was
quiet.
always like cute girls.
The DJ space was away from everyone. You were kind of elevated, like old school Milk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, upstairs like a little loft, and then people would come up there. But they used to make it so if you came upstairs, it was like the VIP.
Yeah.
So the people upstairs would be chilling, having a bottle, and they weren't like trying to get in the DJ's mix really. So yeah, Otis was cool, and then it was called the Romper Room or something. I think it might still be a club.
What's your top 5 favorite venues? Like, we could go San Francisco first, and you could go the world because I know
Okay.
I know how you travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of places that I've been blessed to DJ at a lot of places.
Yep.
So really thankful for that. Like, I'll throw Cielo on the list in New York, which was a club that was built partially by Louis Vega for Masters at Work. So he really constructed it to be like perfect sound wise. The dance floor is like recessed. It's like that you go down kind of into the dance floor, and then the DJ booth's above it. It's like a circular room. That's really dope. I was able to attend the Loft in New York City, which is like a $250,000 sound system or something crazy. This dude David Mancuso built it. He was someone who went to Paradise Garage, which is like widely considered the greatest club in the history of the world, whatever. But David Mancuso went there and was basically like, this is an amazing party. What if this party happened at a place with like a bespoke sound system that I build by hand? So he built that sound system.
Sheesh.
And my older brother, who actually went to Paradise Garage because he was old enough and was in New York like right as it was going out of business in like 87, 88, took me to Paradise Garage. Took me to the Loft. I never went to Paradise Garage. Took me to the Loft, and I got to hear Larry Levan, who was the resident of Paradise Garage, play at the Loft on the sound system, and that was like a mind-blowing experience for me. He was playing on these like $3,000 audiophile turntables, and he wasn't even mixing. He would like play the song, and the song would play all the way to the end. People would stop dancing and they'd clap, and then he'd play the next song.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it was like being like transported back to like the late 60s or early 70s when DJing started. Like he wasn't even mixing. He was just like this. He was just playing insane selections, and everyone was like, "What is this song?" You know. So that was really amazing. I remember going with my brother, and like I was like 15. I was like, this is back when Dinkins was mayor in New York, and you could go into a club without ID. I just went there. Fell asleep on the couch at one point at like 3 or 4 in the morning because I was like a kid.
Yeah.
Woke up at like 10 o'clock. Larry Levan still DJing. 10 a.m. We go outside at like 12. The sun's out. There's like snow on the ground. And I was like, can we go home? My brother's like, no, we're going to another club. I was just like,
I need breakfast.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening? Like, but yeah, so yeah, Cielo, the Loft, I would say, I have really, really fond memories and good feelings about. This is probably gonna surprise you guys, but 15 Utah, Mighty.
Whoa.
Mighty.
Yeah, Mighty.
Yeah.
Which and I don't know why, because like people had complaints about Mighty. One cool thing about Mighty is that they imported that huge, when it first opened, the huge stack speakers.
Yeah.
Those were imported from New York, from some legendary club in New York. And people complained about them. They were old. They're from the 80s. But Mighty, I like the lighting. I like the big open hardwood floors. It felt like an East Coast type of club. And I just have a lot of good memories there from like randomly having EPMD ask me to DJ for them at a show. Like
Flex.
my favorite rap group of all time. And they were just like, hey, we need a DJ. Can you get on? And I was like, your DJ's Scratch. He's literally like the greatest DJ ever. And they were like, well, he's not with us. So they're like, just play some songs. So I just played some songs for them. So yeah, I have a lot of really good feelings about Mighty. Yeah, what are some other good venues? Man, Mission Rock was amazing.
Mission Rock in like the early 2000s was a whole nother thing, right? That was kind of like our like, not like the Ibiza in Oakland, but that was like our Ibiza.
Yeah.
Inside, outside, you do the reggae vibe on the outside.
Yo, just 2,000-3,000 people at a party. Like, that's the thing people don't realize, because that era was so prominent, and then it became all about these like ultra clubs and ultra lounges and tiny little bars and like exclusivity and bottle service. But that era, which I hope and pray is coming back, and I think because of COVID and a lot of other things, like I think it might be coming back at some point. The Mega Club, like where you go in and there's 4 different rooms, almost like rave culture. You know, reggae in one room, house in one room, and it's like an event. It's like a theme park. You're like, oh, we in the main room. We turned up to some rap, and then we like wander into some side room, and there's girls on Molly making out with each other, and it's like, it's just like a different vibe, and I feel like
and there's different music. And
ideally, Mission Rock definitely had that. The big indoor room inside upstairs was like usually like My Motion or somebody just like playing some like radio slaps, and it was going crazy. Mr. E, whoever. And then outside there was like the back patio, which was usually reggae. And then there might be like a lot, like kind of chill, and then it'd be more like, and obviously outside because people listen to reggae, smoke
sneaker
weed.
tote.
Exactly. Yeah, and then in the front, there'd be like a stage for like live performances, or there'd be like I'd play there a lot because it would be like underground music. So like I would be spent out there with like DJ Halo or like trying to think of other kind of DJs. But yeah, Mr. E a lot, like more of the DJs that weren't like the super cameo radio guys. And we get to play more like cool shit. You know what I mean?
Mission
whatever you want to hear.
Mission Rock. And then man, what's a great Frisco club? I would have to say, man, my favorite club of all time. And
let's go.
This is my era again. Like I was 15, 16 with a fake ID going, but club called Mr. Fives, which was right off Market on an alleyway called Rose Street. Yeah, this is like, I'm talking 89, 90, 91. And I was like in high school, like 15 years old. And I remember going up in there. It was started by Michael O'Connor, who opened the Justice League and owns New Parish, and you know has been throwing a lot of venues and parties around SF. Kirk Harper, who was involved with Sweater Funk later, but he also opened 330 Rich. Ooh. This is all later. Jerry Villarreal, who was an amazing graphic designer and DJ. It was called Mr. Fives because there was 5 of them. I'm trying to remember all 5. But basically, these were all guys who mostly went to Cal Berkeley and went on later to be like really big parts of the SF hip-hop and music
club
scene.
Yeah.
But Mr. Fives was really at the era when hip-hop, and especially like jazzy native tongues hip-hop, was really starting to blow up.
Jazzy native tongues
you know what I'm talking about?
I like that lane,
Yeah, like that was starting to be a thing. Hip-hop wasn't just like really aggressive, like hyper, you know, it was after LL Cool J and Run DMC, and hip hop started to be more like about, ooh, this is intellectual, and we're getting these samples from jazz and from all these cool different sources, and it started being more like heady. Yeah. And then at the same time, there was this music genre called acid jazz that was starting to come up out of London, and they did a lot of sort of like, it was kind of almost like instrumental versions of hip hop, where it was like a lot of like jazz samples with drums, and some of it was more housey, some of it was more like hip hoppy. But Mr. Fives kind of fused all that together. And it just was. I remember one of the first times I went up in there, I was hella young, so I didn't know. It was like club starts at 9. I got there at 9 p.m. and it was like almost empty, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like,
"What are you doing here, kid?"
But I had the actual fake ID because my brother moved to New York. And he never got an ID, so I was like, "Can I use?"
ID?
I had his birth certificate, so it was really my picture on the ID. Yeah. But they were like, "There's no way this dude is 21." Like I didn't have a whisker on my face, and the security used to be like, "But this is definitely him.
Yeah, this is
definitely a real ID." So they just used to be like, "All right, bro." And so I was just in the club, and people looking at me like, "Who's this little kid?" And I was just in the corner, like in my little Carhartt jacket with my Zulu Nation hat, just like. You know, like, yeah, man, hip hop. And I remember one night, fucking Cindy from En Vogue walks in. Ooh. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's fine ass Cindy from En Vogue. And I'm sitting like 5 feet away from her. And she starts shooting pool with Dwayne from Tony. Yeah. Dwayne Wiggins. And there's like 6 people in the club. And I'm just like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like I'm around like my idols. It was just acting hella weird. I remember at one point Dwayne was like, "Hey, you want to play, little man?" I was like, "This fool just called me little man in a nightclub."
He knows.
You know what I mean?
He knows.
Yeah, you normally call another dude little man in a club. It's a fight. You know what I mean? I was like, "Nah, I'm okay, big dog." Yeah. I'm like, I like the view from here. Yeah. So yeah, that's what Mr. Fives was. It was like, and really honestly, like. That was the party I always wanted PST to be. I was like, if it could be where there's just like fine ass people, but like famous people could be there just intermingling with regular people and no one was tripping. Like that was, and the music was so unpredictable. I remember one night, Organized Confusion was there, just like hanging out. And it wasn't even like a big venue. It was like this really sexy like loft space on this alley, Rose. It runs, you guys know where Zuni Cafe is on Market? Yeah. It's right, Rose is right behind Zuni. and it was like up in this loft. So you'd like walk up these stairs, and it just looked like a cool little loft, but just an emptied out space. And it was like a couple different rooms, but you know, it would just be like a really sexy crowd. And yeah, and then I remember like Pharoah Monch just wound up getting on the mic and rapping just because he liked the vibe, and it wasn't like a publicized performance. But you know, Organized Confusion was like my favorite group, so I was like, oh, this is unbelievable. Kids that I go to watch and be like, yo, I saw Organized Confusion perform last night. They're like, bullshit, you're lying.
Liar.
How was that possible? And I was like, check out my fake ID. That's a real ID. And they were
still smell like cigarettes.
bruh, like literally, like literally sneaking out of my house to go to these clubs. Like, I don't even remember how I got to all these. I must have took the 90 Owl.
Like, you went there solo.
Yeah, I didn't really even have friends. I was just into music, and none of my homies could go because they were all my age.
Yeah.
So I would just like go by myself, and you know, being that young and being solo, imagine how sus I looked. They're just like, who is this little dude by himself?
This
like,
is a fucking legit ID.
Yeah,
what
but
are you
like
doing here?
he's all alone. He's like, no one's with him. He's not talking to girls. He's not drinking. Like,
He's
what's
a fucking
going on?
narc.
Yeah,
So I dead ass look like, I'm sure people thought I was some kind of like set up narc or something. But yeah, I used to just like sneak out of my house, catch the 90 Owl or whatever. If it was early, I catch the 90 Owl home. Usually by like 8 or 9 p.m. I could still catch a bus, you know, and get there, or I'd walk. I was just like obsessed with being at the spot where they're playing the best music. Like that's always been what I've been about, is just like knowing about and learning about what the best music is. So yeah.
With do you have a question, Phil?
No, go ahead.
With the transition you've seen with music, especially like that, I'm talking about that club era of like of 01 to like 2010. There was a transition from vinyl to CDJs to Serato.
Yep.
How was that for you, and what internal fight did you have leaving Wax?
That's great that that shows you're not a DJ.
Nah, because he is though, and he fucking music. But I'm in the scene, you know what I mean?
But the CDJ thing is really important. I talk about that all the time.
People don't remember.
CDJs was a brief period, but without CDJs, I don't really think the Serato thing would have happened.
Facts.
Yeah, because
you couldn't play the hot music right now unless it was on.
You had
Wax.
to burn, and you had to figure out a way to burn it on the CD. Yeah, because so when the industry, and again, it's all dictated by the industry started moving away from vinyl. And then it was like, if the nightclub is a place where you go to hear the hottest brand new song, that's the best shit at the club, when you're like hearing the new shit that's not even on the radio, that no one knows about, and you know about it, and you're hearing it on a loud sound system. That's like that's, in my opinion, that's the reason why nightclubs exist. You know what I mean? That feeling of a record being broken, and you're there for that moment. And as less and less shit started getting pressed on vinyl, DJs were in a position of like, how am I going to break a song that doesn't exist on vinyl? And that was where CDJs came in. It became out finding MP3s, which back then was like, you know, LimeWire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or
Napster.
Figuring out a way to get it online, and burning a CD of it. And then also the record labels were starting to, they used to send us promotional 12 inches.
Free shit.
Yeah, free records. They'd be like, this is the new LL Cool J single or whatever. This is the new De La Soul single. We consider you a good DJ, so you're getting this record a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months before it comes out. Sometimes they'd send you a record and never would come out.
Yep.
Really?
And they're like, we want you to play it for your crowds. And they would sometimes include a feedback form, and they'd say, mail us this feedback form. Like, it's even before email. They'd be like, fill it out and say, like, I like this record. I played it at this club. The crowd liked it. The crowd didn't really fuck with it, you know, and you give feedback. And in theory, at least, the label, Tommy Boy, in the example of De La Soul, would get all those feedback forms and be like, that would determine whether the song was released as a single. Sometimes it would determine how important De La Soul was on their release roster, you know, all those kind of things. So they, at a certain point, we started getting CDs. That was around the time of Cornerstone Mixtapes.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys remember those, but yeah, the Cornerstone was put out by the same company, Cornerstone Media, which puts out the Fader magazine. It's a marketing company, and they started saying these things called the Cornerstone Mixtapes. Would be like once or twice a month, and they get a different DJ to do the mix, and it would be a double CD they would send you, and one CD would be a mix CD of like kind of all the new commercial stuff. Some of it was good.
All the jiggy shit coming out.
Yeah, a lot of jiggy stuff and radio edits. So it's like, I never listened to them because I'm like, well, I'm gonna listen to radio edit of hella jiggy shit. It's like not even good jiggy shit.
Yeah.
But then the other CD, it would be a double CD. The other CD would be like priority songs that they were trying to get out to DJs. So we had the early MacBooks. We'd put the CDs in our drive and rip the songs off, and we'd have, you know, songs before other people would have it. So yeah, that was where CDJs really came in, and that made the transition to Serato. When Serato came out around, I think, you know, maybe Jazzy Jeff transitioned onto it 03, 04, but for the rest of us, it was like 04, 05. Yeah. I actually jumped onto Serato because, like I said, like, I was never the greatest technical DJ, and Serato allowed me to mask my technical deficiencies in a lot of ways and really focus on what my strength was, which was selections. Because with Serato, instead of being like, I'm going to bring 2 crates of records to the club because that's all I can carry, I could bring as many songs as my laptop could hold.
All in a backpack.
I could bring my whole collection, you know what I mean? And I was connected with a bunch of DJs in New York that were early on the Serato thing, and Serato helped digitize big libraries. So,
let me
like,
just email you this track real quick. You know
I had a situation where, like, people were like, bring your laptop to New York and I'm going to give you like the last 20 years of hip hop on MP3. Yeah. So I was lucky because I was one of those early people that had
your
connections.
Laptop today.
Yeah, I mean,
where's the laptop at?
I had a lot of those records, but if you can imagine how much time it would have took for me to rip all of that shit. So that made it really a lot easier. And then, like, also some of those songs had the cue points in them. So it was like, it really made it easy to kind of start off and get going with Serato. And I took it off and I never really looked back. I remember one of my last big international gigs before Serato was I had a couple gigs in London. And I got to the airport with like 4 crates of records, and they were like, these are over 50 pounds. We're charging you $100 for each crate of records.
For each crate?
Yeah, each crate was $100 because it was over the portage limit. And I was just like, fuck. And I just remember when Serato came out, I was like, never paying $100 to bring some records on. You know, so I wound up buying so many records in London that I think I left with like 4 crates and I came back with like 6 crates. So I think I like the money I made out there was like, I broke even.
It was a wash.
Yeah, I like broke even, yeah.
You got a free vacation out of it.
Yeah, but Serato was amazing and I think it was great. And but I teach people DJing every now and then when people like seek me out and they're like, I want to learn from you. It's not something I do widely, but I do it for certain people that I like know that I have a relationship with, and I always teach them on vinyl because for me, Serato came very naturally because it's based on DJing. It's based on, because Jazzy Jeff and the other people that consulted with them were like, this is the way to make it so it doesn't feel different, you know? And so the people that I've shown, it's frustrating because records skip, you know, and they have sound degradation and you're dealing with needle issues and all that stuff. And it requires repetition and repetition and repetition. But I force the people that I DJ, I tell them before we start, I was like, I'm going to make you learn on vinyl, and it's going to be hard, it's going to be frustrating, but it's going to make you a much better DJ. Because I don't expect you to spin with vinyl, but if you learning vinyl to me is like it's like people that know Latin, they can speak like any language, because all the languages are based on Latin.
Spewed off of that,
they can speak like any Latin-based language, any like European language like Portuguese, French, English, German. And I feel like DJing is the same way. If you learn on vinyl, then a controller makes sense. It doesn't mean like you're instantly able to do it, but it makes sense because it's based on that. Serato's based on that. Record Box is based on that. And now, you know, it's not just Serato now. It's like there's Record Box and there's all these different software programs, Native Instruments, people DJ with Ableton.
Shit.
People DJ with all different kinds of software.
Speaking Latin to me right now.
Yeah, I mean,
you moved off of Latin for me.
Yeah. A lot of DJs now, including some DJs I really admire, are DJing off thumb drives because the new CDJs oddly have come back now.
Really?
CDJs like had like a 3-year period, which was like that transition from vinyl to Serato, and now CDJs are back because they give people more comfort in terms of like there's like a bigger jog wheel, and like people were frustrated with the controller thing. They're a lot more stable than controllers in a lot of cases, and now they have these CDJs that basically have computer screens on them, and you can literally come to the club with a thumb drive, plug it into these newer CDJs, and it'll read your MP3s with your cue points, and you're good to go. And I'm like, as much as the old
Pioneer still? So it's Pioneer,
yeah,
right?
Pioneer mainly is like, and as much as the old DJ in me is like, bruh, I used to bring crates to club, this is phony. I'm like, it would be really nice to show up to a club with two thumb drives on a necklace, just take them off, plug one into the right CDJ, plug one into the left CDJ, and be able to, you know, they have thumb drives with a terabyte on them now. You can play all night. So it's kind of cool.
They will never know that woe of bringing a dolly with you to the club, or having the underage homies hold the crate because they
Yep.
can't check their ID.
Just say you're with the DJ.
Yeah, I'm holding this crate so I can't get in my wallet right now, and then there's 4 other people behind me.
Yep. Oh, how can I'm carrying his records. I can't get my wallet out.
Exactly.
It's like that was like how you get the underage homies and the homies that had like legal issues in. That's how you would get like. We used to bring our little personal alcohol in the crate,
right.
like dip it in the crate. So yeah, it's like a different thing now. And yeah, situations like. Not just getting to the club with 10 crates, going home from the club at 3 a.m. with 10 crates, bringing them all inside your house, being the DJ. And I was this DJ who was just like, went to see a female at 3 a.m. after the club. I was like, I can leave my records in my car. It's good. Who's going to break in and steal some records? Some dope fiend. Who's going to break?
Anyone.
Yeah, losing
can't
5 crates.
Grab a bite to eat.
No, bro.
You gotta be worried all the time.
And you learn that with a laptop quick, too. Like, I literally left my car for 5 minutes and left my laptop inside to go get paid from a promoter from an old party. I went to Pink, which was then called Soam on 16th and
it's called Pink now.
16th. Well, it was originally called Pink, and then before that it was called Fluid. That spot has been right now. It's called what's it called now? I threw a party there. I'm gonna forget. It's still a club. Slate. It's called Slate.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
the
old
same.
Soam, huh?
That's the old Soam. When Jacobo bought it, it was Soam. Before that, it was called Liquid, and some like weird Russian dudes owned it. And then before that, it was called Pink. When the Russian dudes owned it, before that, was a spot called Fluid, and it used to be like, we talk about like the early mid '90s. It was like really cutty because like 16th and Mission is still a little grimy.
Yeah, you gotta move different out there. You gotta wear different colors out.
Yeah, and also just like the
now
drug
still.
activity.
Yes.
Like I remember walking into Fluid and like walking in the door and looking to my right, and there was like a dude smoking crack, like inside the club. And I was just like, okay,
this is where we at, right?
Yeah, we turning up tonight, I guess. So yeah, I remember I literally double parked in front of the club, and again, this is the club I just described, so you're probably not gonna be surprised that I got, but. Ran inside. I told the promoter I was coming. He's like, come through, I got your money. Ran inside, found him at the DJ booth, ran back out. Literally 3 minutes. And my window was popped. And I'm glad I didn't catch the dude because it was like, I could have probably, he was somewhere nearby. Or whoever stole it was somewhere nearby. And I was driving around the block and I had my gun. I would have killed him. So I was just like.
Probably better off.
Yeah, I was like, I'm glad I didn't catch him. He got a laptop. I'm upset, but I was so angry.
Yeah. Universe was with you in that time.
Yeah, like sometimes the door closes and that's what you need, and that door closed, and I also learned a lesson. Like I never,
it's still wild never
leave my I might be running to the corner store to get something. I still, even if I'm dead tired after a long gig, I put my shit on and I go in because you're just asking for it, especially in Frisco.
It's easier to put a backpack on than carrying crates.
Right?
That's true too. That's true too. And that's true too. I still have my records. I'm in a situation right now where my place I live is being renovated. So I had to move out for like 2 months, and I had to box up all my records. And my parents were like, "How many records you got?" I was like, "I don't know,
a couple boxes, a wall or two."
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I knew I had a lot, but I had to box them and kind of count them, and I have near 10,000 records still. Ooh. For someone that doesn't play records.
Yeah.
So, and I've lost thousands, so I'm just like, fuck.
What are you gonna do with it?
I mean, I have it in storage. Theoretically, I'm gonna thin it out. There's some records that are like
you could get
really valuable to me or really valuable monetarily that I want to hold on to. But I have a lot of like those promo records that the labels used to send me.
One-offs?
Yeah, one-offs or like, triples of some like, Little John and the East Side Boys record that I'm like, I don't need 3 copies. I might not even need 1 copy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna I started doing little sales during quarantine. I was doing little sort of spaced out safe sales where people. The cool thing is there's this whole new generation of 20-something DJs that want to do vinyl and want to DJ
good.
on.
They want to get it from the gutter, right? They want to get it from the.
Yeah, and they want to like. They're not into like mainstream music. It's kind of the opposite of what I think a lot of us would assume that is happening. We're like, oh, everyone's on controllers playing like whatever fucking pop music is out, but that does exist. But I think there's always like. Things exist in contradistinction to one another. So because that exists, I think there's a lot of Gen Z people that are searching for like a more authentic type of vibe, and they're like Like I saw it when MF Doom died. I saw all these young kids. I used to work at youth radio in Oakland with a lot of these like 18, 19-year-old kids, and they were heartbroken about MF Doom. And I was like, how do you know about MF Doom? And they're like, bro, that's real rap. We don't listen to this trap shit. We listen to like real lyrical shit. And I'm like, wow, that's
yes.
I mean, kind of, because I'm more into like the trap shit these days. but I think it's dope because that was the spirit I had when I was that age. I was like, I don't want to be into mainstream music. Like, I think that's a healthy place for like people that are starting out in the game to be, rather than just absorb into what's popular to kind of go against it. That's a natural like teenager, 20-something vibe. I think as you get older, you start to just appreciate good music, whether it's popular, whether it's underground, whether it's mainstream. You don't be like, oh, if it's on Cameo, I don't listen to it, you know, because there's some good shit on Cameo. There's also some whack shit on Cameo. But I think that's a healthy place for like Gen Z type age, you know, 18 to 22-year-old DJs to be like, I really want to explore underground music. I want to get into like making beats with a Roland 404, you know, that whole vibe. And I think it's dope because I think those kids they'll evolve and change.
They want to do vintage.
And that's what we want to do when we started DJing. That's what I want to do when I started DJing. Like I want it to be different from everything else. You know, I want to be underground. I want to like break records.
You would throw Beatles tracks during your set.
Really?
A Beatles track.
Did I?
You would,
really?
You would throw. You would just. I don't know. I remember a couple of venues. I'm like, they're playing the Beatles right now. I was like,
that's crazy.
Like, Let It Be. Like, does it sound like a move you would make? Like, Let It Be.
Possibly, yeah. I definitely would like. There was an era too when like. Rock was kind of like becoming kind of cool again in like the urban music scene. Mark Ronson was big on that. Like Mark Ronson would play at New York at this club called Speed, and Jay-Z would go there, and like that's when Jay-Z started like bringing those elements.
Park and
shit. And it was like, you know, you go to a club and DJs would play like some classic rock and also like some of the newer dancier stuff that was made for clubs, like the Rapture and other kind of groups like that, kind of like dance rock. But yeah, man. I don't know about the Beatles. I might have, but yeah, I definitely, like I said, I like to like kind of keep people like
on their toes.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be predictable. Like I didn't want to be like, I know the club will go up if I play this song right now, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to play "Beautiful" by Snoop Dogg again. You know, like it's a great
in
song.
The Club by 50 Cent.
Yeah, it's like
I don't care it's your birthday, bitch.
Yeah, it's like there's other birthday songs. You know,
it's your birthday.
And some of that is maturing as a DJ. Like as I've gotten older, like maybe some people might say I sold out. The way I look at it is like I've come to understand that like getting the crowd on your side also allows you to like take them to places you want to take them. If you're very oppositional, like I want to play nothing you want to hear because I'm hella underground, the crowd's like, fuck you, man, we came to dance. Like we're like, I work all day, I work all week, and I get my Friday nights to get fucked up and dance, and you won't play 50 Cent? It's like, it's a little selfish, you know what I mean? So I think I've learned how to like balance that out.
I mean, you can't please everybody.
You definitely can't please everybody. I DJ'd a gig last week on Sunday, and I found out, like literally I had someone be like, hey, can you play some bachata? And I was like, let me see what I can do. The next person came up, hey, can you play like that new song about the Filmo by Showbanger? And I'm like, let me see what I can do. Next, literally like 3 seconds later, someone came up like, do you have any like
that Ronsky song?
Yeah, the Ronsky song. I love that record. And they'd be like, they came up to me like, do you have any house music? And I was just like, it's literally like
all over the place.
Every single person wanted to hear a different genre, especially in this era, you know, because there's people have so much access. They have a Spotify playlist for every different genre, and crowds are more educated about. They know more music. It used to be like they would come and the DJ had all the music, and now I have people request songs I've never heard of, and I'm like, yeah, I got that. I'm like, let me Google this shit real quick. Let me get on the Wi-Fi and download a fucking YouTube of this song real quick.
Is that on the C side?
Pretty good, yeah.
That's on the C side or the D side?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just a different era, and I think like there was an era where the DJs were entrusted with being the masters of music, and it just doesn't make sense in 2021. Like anyone with a Spotify account, anyone with an Apple Music account has the ability to stream as much music or more than even the most music head DJ. So it's about having, to me, this is a conversation always morphs into like, what is a DJ? And you guys didn't even ask me this, but yeah, I think it's like really about like, are you a DJ that like really puts yourself on a certain, like, I play classics, I play old shit, you know, or am I a DJ that plays all the current hot shit? And if you're in that lane, You just have to realize you're going to be in a nightclub with people that are 15 years younger than you that know more new hot shit than you do. Yeah. They know the newest dude from East Oakland that's got a super big buzz because he dropped a song on YouTube that you've never even heard of. And if you play the song right now because you're playing in Oakland, the club's going to go crazy and you have no idea that song exists. Like, that was never a reality for DJs in like even 2010. So it's just a different era, and if you want to be a DJ that's like current, then you have to have more of like it's more of an equal relationship with the audience.
You got to be on it.
You got to be super on it, but even if you're super on it, you're not gonna know. Yeah. There's just too much. There's like a new hit song every day.
Everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Like, I'm friends with Ghazi from Empire, and Ghazi is
Godzilla.
He has an amazing ability to like spot these new artists that are coming out. But even Ghazi, it's like someone will have a song and it'll have a buzz, and then in that process of them being like, okay, let's sign this artist and give them a distribution deal and we'll start working on an album, 20 other artists underneath that artist from their same neighborhood. Yeah, it's starting to come up. So,
I remember Ghazi when he was on Third across from Hard Knocks.
Yes, I recorded all my early mixtapes there, all my Soul Deluxe mixtapes.
Gino, Gino, right? He should have shared a space with him.
Samoan Gino. Yeah. Gino's the homie. Yeah, Gino had the record pool there initially. Yep. And then he moved down to like South City.
Yeah.
He had like a big warehouse in South. Yeah, Gino's the homie. What up, Gino?
Ghazi engineered a mixtape I did for some friends on some like, here, $100. And I was like, dope, thanks, Gus.
Yeah.
Hey, clean me up, you know what I mean? Make it nice for me.
So you are a DJ. I knew it.
I'm not.
I knew it.
He's a DJ.
You just said you made a mixtape, bro. That sounds like that's some shit a DJ would do, right?
I help facilitate. Homies rap, homies make beats, and I just.
So you like a Puff Daddy type of guy. You like
take that.
Quarterback it. But Ghazi, I was doing these mixtapes called Soul Deluxe that were like very like underground soul. And Ghazi used to be like, because he worked with a lot of rappers, you know, like he worked like with Frisco rappers, and I would just come up
Federation.
And he'd be like, this music's cool, Sake. He's like, what do you call this? And I'm like, it's like soul. It's like when Neo Soul was coming out. He's like, you know what? This is really cool. It's like a breath of fresh air. And I could tell he was like, I don't listen to this shit at all. But that like for me, that was like my lane. I didn't want to put out mixtapes like everyone else was doing with like all the latest rap songs. So I focused on underground soul and some of the underground artists like Guapale, Kev Choice, different artists coming out of the Bay, and that worked for me by having my own lane. But I remember Ghazi.
Local 1200s?
Yeah, Local 1200. And just funny last thing about Ghazi, I remember him being like, yeah, man, I'm thinking about starting a record label. And I was like, I got an even better idea, Ghazi. I was like, take all your money out of the bank in like cash and put it in the middle of the street and like set it on fire. Because I was like, that's how good of an idea starting a record label is. And look at Ghazi now, bro. I'm glad he didn't listen to me because
it took a minute though, right?
It did, yeah.
Him and Hannah were working hard for a minute. You know what I mean? It took a minute, and not to derail from
now
Ghazi.
He's like one of the most important dudes in like the industry nationally, not just in Cali. Yeah.
But when I worked at KMEL, Phil, shout out to homie Tone Dev, shout out to J Plus. Yeah. We did a party called Free99. And then us not being on the same radar, this is like MySpace days. Yeah. You did a party at Club 6 called Free99.
Whoops.
And then thing is, Tone reached out.
That's where the beef started.
Yeah.
I can tell you this much. I don't remember that party, but I can tell you this much. That party was not a party I threw. I DJ'd at it, but I'm pretty sure I didn't throw it.
But this is what the thing though. Okay. And
way to cover yourself. Way to cover yourself.
No, I'm just saying like
he kept it a buck with him. You know what I mean? And this is where it kind of went. And then this is why I've always fucked with you. Like even though like we met just like really met just recently, but I really fucked with you because Tone because Tone knew you like more than I knew you. And he goes, you know what? Let me holler at him and let me let him know. So he let you know, and your reply to him was like, "It's not polite to bite." He goes, "All good, don't worry about it. Next party won't be called that." And I was like, "Yeah, straight up, solid as fuck."
Wait, so you guys? Oh, we had the party before you?
No, we had the party first.
So I said it's not polite to bite to you?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a cool answer then, because
no,
Yo, fuck that shit.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, if it was y'all, if y'all had the name first, I should have been like, that's on y'all, and we'll change the name.
And that's what you said, but you were saying it's not polite for y'all to bite our shit.
Okay.
But thing is, we were two different because we were the Jiggy crowd.
Okay.
We were Jiggy, and then we were
like, was that Club 6?
Whatever Angel let you play, right?
Yeah, not Jiggy. Club 6 was not Jiggy.
No, it was
not
grimy.
I mean, we had it moments, but yeah, it was not.
Sister Nancy would be playing. Ours was in Burlingame at Blush.
Okay. Oh, Blush, yeah.
Yeah, it was Jiggy crowd. We played the Jiggy crowd, and it was some free shit. But like that showed me how solid you were. And then the next time I met you, though,
but did I change the name of the party?
Yes, you did.
Okay, that's what's up.
Because you were like, "Hey, my bad, didn't mean to do that," and it was like,
okay,
so that means it was your party.
I don't remember throwing it, but like I threw a lot of parties back then. I have a feeling it was a party that I was DJing at that I wasn't throwing. But if I made the call to change the name, then I also could have called the promoters and been like, "Hey, there's another party. Can we change the name?"
I get it now. Gus brought you here because he wanted to say that to you.
It's finally he finally got it off his chest.
But I never got to tell you that.
Turn the lights off. I think I'm about to get murked out.
No, but the fact that I never got to thank you to show you how solid you were for that, because you didn't really know us. We were a Jiggy party.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a community. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
And I always feel that way. And I'm also someone who's always been like very vocal about being original and not biting, because that's the era I come from.
You built different, bruh. Like, that's what I'm saying. You real Frisco.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm going to be someone that talks about other people biting, and then I'm in a situation where someone else is like, hey, this party's named the same thing mine is, then
we beat you like 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even still, I'd be a hypocrite. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I definitely don't want to be that. So I'm glad that at least in that case, I did the right thing.
Super solid. Super solid. And then I remember us, like, you DJ'd at a lot of clubs that were like, whoa, this is lightweight sketch. Like, remember what's that club 222 on Hyde Street?
Yeah.
Right in the murk of the L's, you know what I mean? Like in the
that club was called the Black Hawk in like the 30s, 40s, 50s, and it was like a legendary jazz club. There's one of the most.
Looks like it's been like
not no more. Then. I mean, like what he's saying, like literally there was like a open air drug market in front of the club.
Yes.
But and it was cutty. Like you go in, and it was like you almost feel like you were gonna hit your head if you're going in the back room. But there's a seminal, one of the great live jazz recordings of all time is Miles Davis live at the Black Hawk, and it was recorded
at that club.
It's at that club, and my uncle was at that showing, and my uncle was like, my parents had a copy of it, and he used to be like, put it on side B. He's like, put the needle to the middle. And there's one part, like, at the end of the song, it's a live recording, so you hear people clapping, and someone in the back's like, yeah, groovy. And my uncle's like, that was me. That was me. He's like, I was so high, man. I smoked some Maui. My uncle's like a hippie. He's like, I smoked some Maui Wowie, man. I was so high, and I was so geeked to see Miles Davis, bro. It was so cool. He's like that. I just yelled, but now I'm on I think that album won, like, a Grammy or something for like live recording. It's a seminal jazz. It's an amazing album. But yeah, that building. It's obviously was much bigger than the space we're in, but like that building was 222 Hyde. And that club itself. Yeah, I've DJed at some really sketchy shit.
Ooh,
bro, I DJed at a club. I was trying to have sex with a stripper, and this is like around.
Don't we all?
Yeah. It's about 2000.
Just one club.
Well, she talked me into this party, and she was like, "It's at Too Short's house," and I was like, "Oh, it's lit. Let's do it." Yeah. It was not at Too Short's house, and it was a guy named Too Short. It was a drug dealer dude, and there was like not really anyone there, and there was like a lot of like, it looked like sex for money was happening. I was always sure. I did get paid, but I was like. She was like, yeah, come spin for a couple hours. And I was like...
Did you get paid in money?
I got paid in money. Did not get paid in Poontang. But, it was like 3 in the morning, and I was like, yo, I'm getting ready to go. And dude, like, pulled out a gun and was like, you ain't going nowhere, homie.
Yeah,
and I literally...
got you for the night.
Yeah, I literally was like, I'm... kidnapped, like I'm being like a hostage DJ situation.
What do you want to hear, bro?
Yeah, I was like, I mean, how many DJs can say they've been in a hostage DJ situation? He's like, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm the promoter now.
Yeah. Nowhere, sir.
I am your boss now. Yeah.
That was very sketchy. But yeah, I've DJed some sketchy spots.
And just derailing because you're a real Frisco head, top 3 taquerias, and you don't have to include any of the homies. Okay. Just for fairness, top 3 taquerias.
Okay, first of all, I want to be very clear that
Disclaimer?
I'm vegan. And I've been vegan for I'll be 4 years on the 15th.
Congratulations.
June 15th, yeah. And I've been vegetarian since I was like 12. So
Yeah, really?
Yeah, bro. Like Karis one was like, I'm a vegetarian. I was like, I am too.
Yeah.
Like my mom was like, give me one reason. I'm like, Karis one.
Aren't
She's
you
like,
Jewish?
I'm Jewish too, yeah. So I don't know.
Y'all make a fucking brisket though.
Yeah, I've had brisket. Brisket's amazing. Never had pork. Don't know what it tastes like. So that was very easy to give up. But yeah, like, so, you know, you talk to real taco experts and they'll be like, yeah, if you don't eat meat, you're not really. But for veggie tacos, still La Taqueria on mission. They're amazing. Like,
right?
Like they.
Do you get them crunchy though? Or you get them soft?
No, I get the soft. Soft. But Ray, the dude that works there, is like the OG.
Always of G's.
Yeah, I feel like he kills it. I guess like as I've gotten older, I've become more of a burrito person. Farolito still to me is the best burritos. Like, and they still have maintained like they're still less than $10.
Yeah,
you go places now. I'm old enough. I remember when it was like $4.50 for a burrito.
We were just talking about that last podcast. Like super burrito was $4.50.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
yeah. And you get the chips for free.
Yeah,
and you get all the salsa you want. Like that was Farolito, and I feel like now it's like $8 or $9, which is still, if you think about it, like you're getting hella food.
I get mad when people charge for chips. Like, you charging for chips?
Like, bro,
come on, we charging for chips.
It's just sitting back there.
Yeah, they sit back there getting stale.
You know they stale, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then they charge you and you take them home and they're hella stale. But yeah, you know, those are two of my favorites. There's an amazing place in Oakland that I know for sure they make meat. They're famous for their meat tacos. It's called Tacos Oscar. You guys should definitely check them out. They're amazing because I had his vegan tacos at a wedding party I went to. They were like mushroom based, and I was like,
mind blown.
They were so good, and people were like, "Oh, you don't know about Oscar, but this fool's got the best tacos." And he's popping now in Oakland. Like he's like, you have to wait in line. It's like off 40th. You know where?
Is it a truck or is it a?
He has a spot. He started as a truck. He has a spot now.
Because the town's known for their trucks. Town and trucks are like
the trucks all down East 14th.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I don't know them well enough, but like I've been to a lot of those, and those are the best. Like if you go after, especially after a club, and there's like prostitutes in line, there's like club people in line, there's like hipsters
it's
in line.
good.
And you're just like, it's just like it's worth it for just like the ambiance. You know what I mean? It's like there might be
Let me get a taco and a fish taco.
Oh boy,
it's a party now.
Oh boy, but yeah, that's my thing. I'm not really a taco expert, but yeah, those are my three favorite
taquerias.
I'm a lumpia guy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like very into lumpia, and have found a lot of really good veggie and vegan lumpia. I know. You guys are like they're supposed to have pork in them. Nick's is good. Also, 16th and South Venice. Irma's. She has them, but she has to thaw them out usually.
The veggie ones.
The veggie ones.
Irma's Papanga.
Irma's Papanga. Yeah, I used to meet my boy E there, R.I.P. We used to link up there and chill, and she'd always be like, "You want the vegetarian ones?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "She just have to thaw them out, but they'll be hella good." She throw them in the fire, hella good. Lumpia Company has decent ones. Hey. They're cool. And yeah, there's one other spot that has really good vegan lumpia. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, I would call myself more of a lumpia
connoisseur.
I don't know about connoisseur, but that's probably my favorite food.
It's funny that you say lumpia and just transitioning because that's Filipino. There was
yes, I'm aware.
There was a movie that you mentioned. Was it called one of your favorite movies? Is a
Wrestling of Leaves.
Tell me about that.
Wow, that's crazy.
That debut.
I'm shooting right now from half court right now.
Bro, you swish. Swish, Lillard. Yeah, no, I've mentioned that a couple times, but not recently. But yeah, like
What's it called?
It's called A Wrestling of Leaves. Like, you know, the noise wrestling. It's about the revolution in the Philippines. And it was a movie I saw. You can see it on YouTube. It's intense because, I mean, the revolution in the Philippines is really intense and like over a long period of time. So it's like, it really breaks down like, obviously from the side of the people that are in revolt, but you really get a sense from like inside of it. The filmmakers were given access. They got the trust of the rebels, so they were like allowed to kind of embed with them. And for me as a young person seeing that when I was like Spy's dad actually. Shout out to Spy 1 TMC, but
too much confusion. The McDonald's cheeseburger,
the most crushingest. So yeah, like Spy's dad, Doug, Doug Norberg, who was also a Muni Muni driver, but he politicized a lot of us Frisco kids and like gave us exposure to a lot of. He ran Collision Course Media, so he had this amazing DVD library. So he was one of the first
YouTube kids.
Way pre that.
Come on, man.
He was Frisco YouTube. He was Frisco YouTube. Right? Yeah, and it was like that's how like some of the early Frisco hip hop documentaries like Dirt Style and Malicious Mischief got made. Well, Malicious Mischief was more TMF, but yeah, like Spy made Dirt Style, and that was some of the first footage of Q-Bird, Board Stiff, all these different people in the Frisco hip hop scene. And I think being the son, Spy being the son of a bus driver who was also someone who was a videographer and had this amazing video collection. That played a role because Spy had access to the editing machines, all that kind of stuff. So Doug is this amazing person who I think someone needs to. That's
not Doug One we're talking about, right?
No. Doug Norberg, yeah. Doug One also a very important person. But yeah, Doug is Spy's father, his actual dad. And I feel like we need to have a documentary on him. But yeah, he was the first person I think who told me about a rustling of leaves. So I didn't even know there was a revolution in the Philippines. So then I'm like learning all this about the revolution and also about all the different islands in the Philippines and the different communities of people, and there's Muslims in the South and all this, and I was like, I don't know any of this shit, so it was like really mind-blowing for me. But as I got older, actually when I went to college, I wanted to be a filmmaker. My thing was like I want to do documentary films, and so that movie was a very big influence on me early, where I was like, that's the kind of movie I want to make that like can change someone's life. You know what I mean? Because it changed my life when I saw it.
Oh,
no lumpia anywhere in that movie.
No lumpia anywhere in the movie.
So where you at with a documentary now?
I mean, I haven't thought about making a movie in hella long. My life took twists and turns. You know what I mean?
Love to help.
I never planned to be
Free99 is going to offer their help for that documentary. Let's get something going.
I have lots of ideas. I've had lots of ideas. Like the one I just said, like Doug Norberg, like it would be like his influence. I think we need to do something for Spy. You know what I mean? Like
we got a videographer. Right
yeah, like I feel like Spy's life needs to be chronicled. I'm a very big, especially now as I get older and we're losing more people, about giving people their roses while they're still here. And I think about all the people that were important to me in Frisco and being close to being an understudy of Mike Dream and being around Mike, but just being intimidated by him because he was such a Mike was like not humble. He was like, he wasn't like a dick, but he wasn't like, Mike was looked at as like a style king.
And like little John.
Yeah, John is super humble, but Mike was just like, he knew he was the shit because he was, but he was hella cool to people, but he would roast your ass, he'd hella make fun of you, and I'd be like, Mike, what's up? He's like, Sake, you still whack at tagging, bruh? I'd be like, fuck, bruh. Like, but I'm here though. Like, yeah, but I'm here though. Yeah, like when it came from Mike, it just like hurt, but like that was.
So cash is not good.
Yeah,
tell me
tell me not to the two, one line through the ass, two lines through the ass.
One line, two line, one line,
yeah. So. But yeah, like, I feel like, a lot, we've talked about Mike a lot since he's passed, and a lot has been done for him. We do Dream Day every year.
What's up, Killy Bo?
Yeah, what's up, Akil? Like, a lot of stuff, a lot, TDK has kept his memory alive, but I also wish that, like, we had thought to record all his shenanigans and how funny he was. Like, there's little video clips of him, but like, bro, that dude was so funny. Like, I really wish someone had really sat down with him and been like, Mike, what's up with these weak ass taggers? You know what I mean? Just like set him up for him to just knock it over the fence, because like he was such a roaster, bro. Like he was just like talking shit about people constantly, and it would have been nice to have that. And with Shock G passing, and Shock kept to himself, and obviously
that one hurt for real.
That one hurt so
that
different.
One hurt. That one hurt.
It hurt different, and it was in a way that I was like, whoa. Fuck, this dude was like connected to everyone I know, like Fuse,
too close to home,
way close to home, and so it's so young. You know what I mean? Like so young. I mean, yeah. So those are the kind of things that, in terms of documentary, I think about a lot in terms of like storytelling about people, especially in the Bay, because we're different from LA and New York. Like we don't get that. We provide our own hype. We're our own hype engine.
We're our whole universe.
We're our whole everything. Yeah, and I feel like
ecosystem.
Yeah, like I feel like why hasn't there been a documentary? Why hasn't there been a movie made about E40? As important and as influential as he is, he's a god out here. And like they've done that for like the East Coast dudes and for the LA dudes, but like we don't have the infrastructure. We don't dick ride out here, which is what's great about us. But I feel like let's dick ride.
They kind of hates on each other.
We hate on each other. Yeah, but it's like let's dick ride E40 so that he has his flowers. So there's a document so that, of course, our kids are gonna know about E40. But what about our kids? Like as important as he is. So like those are the things I think about in terms of documentaries, like documenting important shit historically. Yeah. That especially I feel about Frisco, like as some of the people like Doug One. You know, people like Spy start to hit their 50s, 60s, start to get old. You know what I mean? Like, then it's just going to be like word of mouth
Young
shit.
Ethan.
Joke. Yeah. We got to be careful about putting the government names with the tag names. But Nah, you're good. I just almost followed up with the tag name. Shout out to Ethan. Love you, boy. But yeah, like, you know, like all these people that have like put in so much work and have really influenced. And I see it because I'm involved with, I work in SFUSD, so I'm involved with kids, and I see directly how the culture that we put down in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s is carried on. Like, you know, a lot of these kids, their parents were involved. They were B-boys or like DJs or breakers or scratch DJs, or we used to party with Shortcut on Templeton Street, you know what I mean? Whatever the case.
Easy with the temp side.
TSM, bro.
Temp side.
But yeah, like, you know, like, these stories, I think, to me, and sometimes I'm like, maybe no one cares, you know, maybe, but when I see Shortcut, I'm like, bro, you're like a god to me.
John's still doing it.
Yeah, but he's like, it's not just that he's still doing it, it's like he was that dude, bro. Like all through the 90s, like people in Germany and Japan like studied his
I think he still
patterns.
Is that dude, though.
He still is that dude.
That's his bootleg right there.
Nah, he's kind of Nah, he's always gonna be that dude. But I just feel like
humble as fuck.
It would be super humble, but to the point where like I wish he'd be less humble. I wish he'd be like, I am that dude, bruh.
Fuck y'all, I'm short.
Show your nuts a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like he's not that dude. So it would be nice if someone did that for him, either in the form of a movie, whatever, a TV series talking about like the important cultural figures in the Bay Area hip hop scene. Maybe just something for y'all to do because y'all already have a well-known brand, and it sounds like you guys are good with the cameras.
I think what's missing though in the Bay Area, like our music is there, is like the hip hop, the DJ scene in the Bay Area is never really like talked about how important it is. Our music in the Bay is good because of our DJs. You know what I mean?
We got the best. To me, we got the best DJs in the world. Still.
Come on!
Like Philly can make a case. New York, of course, is where it started. But to me, and I really believe this is not
like
biased.
Champion sound. You know what I mean?
Like DJ for DJ, whether it's Scratch DJs, Party Rocker, we got the best. Like Frisco is 800,000 people, 900,000 people, and we got more dope DJs here than cities that are 3-4 times our size. So hell yeah! And we got the track where we've got DMC, we've got ITF, which is Frisco based.
Yes,
but we invited people from all over the world to come and get their ass waxed.
Join this federation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come out here and get your fucking shit handed to you by a Frisco DJ. But not just that, but like, you know, we have reggae DJs, we have house DJs, like David Harness, like
David Harness, your mama's house. Come on now.
I mean, we have DJs. I feel like our DJs stand up to anybody in the world, and yeah, I think that is important, and it relates to the to how good our music is and how poppin' our music scene is. And I was realizing this when you said this, no one has really covered how dope our DJ scene is since fucking Dominique DePrima Home Turf, bro.
Oh shit!
Like, cause that was my first time seeing Apollo. That's what Apollo looks like. Like, he's got a ponytail. What the fuck?
Google what Home Turf is, fuckers. Because if you don't know what
Dominique
that is, she's too young for you.
And that was just for us. That was like on local TV, and it was for us to look at our own hip hop scene, and it was huge. When I see Dominique, I say thank you, because like that.
Oh, you still see her around? I
haven't seen her in years. She's in LA. I haven't seen her in years, but like I saw her in LA like 10 years ago, and I was just like, that ability for me as a young person in the scene to see our scene was like, it was like a mirror. Like if you don't look in the mirror, you don't know what you look like. And I was like, this is what we look like.
Filipino dancers on the show starting off the shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, we're sick, because the only other thing I could look at was Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah.
And I was just like, these New York dudes, and I was like, yo, we got Filipinos out here that are better. You know what I mean?
Come on.
So I just feel like it's really important, like, that we have that ability. Obviously I'm into visuals, and it's a documentary, but I think it would be important to have that ability to continue to tell that story.
And you know, we're about to wrap it up. One more thing, like on some stuff. kids will never know about Psycho City.
No, yeah, well, damn. I mean, Psycho City 2. There was Psycho City 1, Psycho City 2, but yeah, that was the.
Where was 2 at?
Across the street. It was across. It was that parking lot. If you go across Market, people just called it Psycho 2. That was like, I always was like, we can come up with a better name than this. Psycho City's such a great name.
Yes.
I was like, we could do better than Psycho City 2.
Yeah, the remix.
But yeah, like more Psycho, more City. but yeah,
They put a dollar sign in the Psycho.
see, they're trying to roast me. They're trying to roast me now. They're trying to roast me.
We
now.
love this shit.
Yeah, they're trying to roast
We're
me.
paying
now.
attention. That's all it is. We're taking notes.
But yeah, Psycho City, that was 13th and it was Market and Goth, but they called it 13th and what was the street, the little alley that ran behind it, 13th and Elizabeth, or it's like a.
I can't even remember.
Oh, by the way, really quick, I know we got to
Please,
stop.
please.
All those streets in Soma named like Minna, Elizabeth, Natoma, Annie. Did you know those are all named after prostitutes?
Hey!
Yeah. When
Yes!
Frisco during the gold rush, all
Yes!
those SRO buildings, it was all single dudes that came here to pan for gold. So, well, either prostitutes or madams, but like Clementina, all those streets are named after women.
I like that shit.
Yo, this is whole city, bro.
Maiden Lane, and then it just kept going down
yeah,
from
Maiden
there.
Lane. I didn't even trip off Maiden Lane. Yeah, that might be. But yeah, like all those Soma streets, which also was Manila town for a long period of time.
Come on.
Yeah, those before that, I'm talking about 1850s, 1860s. That was where the single men that left their families from the Midwest or from China or from wherever to come pan for gold.
We're a port city, so it could be like Navy's coming in. You know what I mean? And,
Mind blown.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, we all used to party on those streets, right?
Yeah.
There was a club on Annie Street that was called like 23 Annie. Remember, like Paz Red used to DJ there. I forget, but anyway.
No one know about Paz Red.
World class DJ.
Come on now.
World class, like Paz
He
Red.
don't get his flowers.
Nah, he need to get his flowers.
Shout out to Paz Red.
Paz Red, AJ Scratch, aka Supreme. Shout out to all the Frisco DJs.
Supreme before Supreme was Supreme. Shout out
Exactly.
to AJ, man.
AJ Scratch, yeah.
AJ, man.
We need to
Hey,
have you
good
back
deal.
on again because I feel like we just
we just barely scratched.
Clearly, I like to talk.
And just to end it on like not a sour note, but just to end it on where it is for you. What don't you like about the club scene right now?
Oh,
I mean, it's hard to say because we haven't had a club scene for like a year and a half, and
Okay.
I'm really in a mode right now where I'm excited about things reopening. I'm nervous because I don't
But you
want.
did the day party for people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
You
yeah.
were early on that.
You're making me feel bad now. Like I'm like a menace.
I'm
to
just
public
saying.
health.
I'm just saying.
There were a lot. Shortcut did one 2 weeks before us. There was a Mr. E did a Bad Bunny party 2 weeks. I'm not trying to throw people under the bus, but like they reached out. Phoenix reached out to me in like February and October both, and were like, "Would you like to do a party?" And I was like, "No, I don't think it's safe."
Yeah.
So I held off. And I felt like where COVID rates were at now, it was safe for me to do one 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, I definitely had
I
concerns.
was supposed to go.
It was cool, but it was weird, because it's still
Yeah.
safe. So it's like everyone had to be seated. We're gonna
Yeah.
do another one at the end of the summer when it's warm.
Okay.
And it's
When it's warm.
theoretically, yeah. Indian summer,
summer.
yeah, and theoretically we can do like 1,000 people. So do it real.
And-
But yeah, like one thing I'm excited about the club scene is like, I think all of the twitching and streaming over the quarantine allowed DJs to play
Whatever
the fuck they wanted,
Yeah.
and kind of start to build a brand around that. Like, because it's like, I watched a few streams. To me, I didn't do it that much because I was like, I'm old. If I don't have a dance floor, I'm like, like people are watching me. Does my hair look weird, But other DJs that were sort of able to transition into it smoothly, I felt like I watched some of their streams and I'm like, oh, it's really about like them creating a brand for themselves, and the music is part of it, but it's more about cultivating an environment. Like even the Twitch stuff, when people started coming on and playing Among Us, it was like, I was talking to one of my homies, Candy Rain, Segundo, and I was like, he's like, people are playing Among Us while they come on to my stream, and I'm like, doesn't that bother you? Don't you want them like paying attention to your music? And he's like, no, bro, the streaming thing is you're curating a community, and like the music is part of it, but like the music isn't everything.
Yeah.
And as hard as that was to hear me as a music dude, like I feel excited about clubs reopening and being a space where DJs aren't so much like these gods that are put on a platform, but are part of like creating a cool environment for people to come and to ease back into socializing again. Because I feel like some good things can come out of that, like healthier club scenes where women aren't groped, where music is more open, where we don't encourage binge drinking, and then 2 o'clock we're sending people home drunk in their cars. Like I feel like there's a lot that could happen in the club scene to make it more healthy, and I think
you can have a whole experience.
That's healthy. You know what I mean? That's good for you. Like music is good for you, but I feel like sometimes people go to clubs to like let everything out. And that's not always a healthy environment. And I feel like if DJs have more of a like a caretaking mode for people, and they're like, these people are coming here to spend what little money they have and what little time they have with me,
like set a mode, like mood and everything,
like curate, you know what I mean? And I feel like some of that was happening online on Twitch in certain cases, and I'm excited to see if that continues or if we just go back into full debauchery, which we might do. But you know,
you're down for that too.
I'm always down, but I'm old, so I'm like, I'm probably not going to be doing a ton of DJing, but like, you know, the spots that I do, I've always tried to like make my spaces about more than just partying. Like that's annoyed people, but with PST we always made them fundraisers.
It was a vibe before vibe was a thing.
Yeah, it was always about a vibe, and I never felt comfortable inviting someone to my party if I couldn't guarantee that they would be safe and be comfortable. I didn't like being that DJ and having girls come to the DJ booth and being like, oh hey, you coming to talk to me? They're like, no, I'm coming up here because dudes are grabbing me.
Creepy.
Like and I never felt like that ain't my business. I felt like that is my business. I literally made the flyer for this party, and I invited you here.
Well,
and
stop playing back your ass up, then.
Dun, dun. That will always do it.
Stop playing R&B songs.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things you can do with the selections to like change the vibe. But I feel like a responsibility to like make sure that the people I come like aren't. You know, I'm always that dude on the mic at the end of the night that's like, if you're drunk, please get an Uber. I would literally drive people home because I felt guilty. Like if someone really drunk was gonna like possibly die because, you know.
I remember hearing you shout out, if you're coming with someone that's drunk, that's driving, grab their keys. I distinctly give
and people used to be like, Sake, you doing too much. You're doing too much. And I was like, maybe I am, but like I'm just the dude that like I go home.
My conscience, like I worry about shit. You know what I mean?
I can't sleep it's different if I was. It's not totally different, but it's a little different if like you threw a party and you invited me to DJ. It's a little more on you. But when I threw my parties, I'm like, I invited you here. You're here because of me. It's like inviting someone to your house and being like, oh, you got raped in the bathroom? Oh, well. It's like, no, that's on you, bro. Like, and, you know, a woman having her ass grabbed, having her pussy groped, like, that's sexual assault legally. And that shit happens rampantly in the nightclubs throughout the world. And I feel like us, especially as men, we need to start figuring out some ways to do that so that women are safe coming to our club. Because even just on some like real shit, like it's wrong, but even on some vibe shit, if women aren't coming to our clubs are gonna suck. So
you gotta cater to them.
It's women always have to be at the center of that, and for sure they shouldn't be getting sexually groped and assaulted and harassed and being called bitch if they don't want to dance. Like that shit ain't cool. And myself as well as a lot of us, we normalize that shit. We're like, oh, that's just dudes being dudes. But a lot of time it's a dude that I know or a dude that I'm close with knows. And we have to start speaking up.
Hell yeah.
And also doing what you mentioned, like, you know, figuring out ways to use music to control. Like if we notice women are feeling uncomfortable and we start playing like Mac-a-ho, crack-a-ho, like
Mac-a-ho, crack-a-ho.
What? It's probably not gonna.
That shows his Frisco with him though.
It's probably
you didn't know.
it's probably not gonna go. It's probably not gonna go. It's probably gonna continue to go in a bad direction. So yeah, that's I guess I am with that. Like to take more responsibility, and I feel like I always remain optimistic that as things start to reopen and as clubs start to open, we are missing a lot of our venues got lost last year, a lot of our independent venues. Bro. But I'm also hopeful that like new spots are gonna open, and when new spots open, they bring in new DJs. You know, like sometimes DJs have relationships with venues, so that why do you keep booking Sake every Thursday? Sake, there's hella DJs. You could book another DJ, and as much
because he's cool.
Yeah, because we don't have
the Mac-a-ho.
Yeah, but it's more like because he's homie, and there are probably better DJs or DJs with a bigger draw, but we don't want to fire him because that's awkward. You know, so like new venues will create the opportunity for new young DJs to get in, and I think that's good. So yeah.
You have a traveling. I'm sorry, we're gonna wrap this up soon, but you have a traveling party, the art of storytelling.
Yeah, art of storytelling. Yes,
please. Touch on that real quick.
Okay, real quick. So PST, one thing I used to like to do to keep it as it was getting really popular, and we were getting the people that were like
not supposed to be there.
I mean, I want to say not supposed to be there because I like to think I'm going to convert these people to like different music, but people that were just coming because you know, Sana or Vaughn or someone, shout out to them. They're the homies, but they'd shout us out and they'd be like, show up and had no interest in music. They just wanted to, you know, talk to girls. Yeah. So one of the things I started doing was curating tribute nights. So I know tributes are very common now, but I'm talking, this is like 2004.
Come on.
We was ahead of the curve a little bit on that.
Come on.
And again, with the Giving People Flowers, I did a lot of tributes for artists that were still alive. We did a Prince tribute night. We did a Raphael Sadiq tribute night. We did a Shaka Khan tribute night. Woo. And the night that we did that really, really went up and was super cracking was the Outkast tribute night.
You played Outkast music beginning to end and only Outkast music.
Yep.
Because they have a lot of
they have a lot of club slabs, yeah. Like unlike a lot of other rappers, like Outkast made their shit for clubs.
Yes.
So 10 years after PST died, I was like, I had always thought about doing an Outkast night, but I was like, man, tribute parties are hella trendy now. It's so corny. Everyone does tribute parties. But I decided to do one at Somar in Oakland just to see how it went, and it's just so fun. The Outkast is so much fun to dance to,
and
like
it's good. That's one of my favorite groups. That's really good hip hop.
Yeah, it's really good. Like there's nothing to dislike about Outkast.
Yeah,
like it's lyrical. Andre 3000, arguably the best rapper of all time. Like it's all like super 808, like club knocking. Like
they could do street. They could do like,
exactly.
You know, like
on the same song. On the same song. Exactly. Yeah, and then when you make it like the extended Outkast family and you're bringing in Badu, Joy, Goody Mob, like all these different artists that feel it, it's like a really fun party. So we started doing it, and yeah, we've taken it to New York. The goal, LA, the goal, Chicago. The goal one day is to do it in Atlanta, but I will only do it in Atlanta like with someone from Outkast camp co-signing, because that's like someone coming to Frisco and doing like a San Quinn party and they didn't talk to San Quinn about it.
Who is you?
Yeah, exactly.
Get shocked the party.
It's like you about to get everything removed from your body. But yeah, so that's the ultimate goal, and there's been a couple conversations about that. You know, like I don't know Dre or Andre, and I mean Dre and Big Boy, but like obviously they're not really together as a unit anymore, but I know different people in their camps. So I've talked to them about it, and they've been like, yeah, come throw the party. I'm like, nah, I want like one of y'all to host it, or like your DJ to spin with me. Or
Sleepy Brown, someone come over here.
Somebody, somebody from the, oh God, there's such a talented
anyone from Dungeon can really like.
Yeah,
you got to dress up in
Future.
all gold, like
Future's Dungeon family.
Is he?
Future's first generation Dungeon family. That's how influential Outkast is, bro. Because Future's first generation Dungeon family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Most toxic dude in America.
Hey, low key. Yeah.
I love that dude though.
Yeah, that's why on his album, Andre's on the songs. Andre's on his, I think on his second or third album, Andre's got a feature. Yeah, he's first generation Dungeon.
Ooh.
He had a different name, but he recorded their songs. He's on one of the songs on the Dungeon Family compilation.
Google
that shit.
Yeah, so just incredibly influential.
Yeah.
Incredibly influential in terms of like what we think of as trap music in the Atlanta strip club trap sound now. Like Outkast also influenced that.
Dude, they did everything.
They did everything.
They did, and they kept evolving with time.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's very few groups, let alone individuals that could evolve with time. And just as we're wrapping up, anything you want to share with our listeners of personal music, life, you know, anything you want to share, just to give you the floor.
I just not really. The tequila's kicking in, but I do want to say, you know, I've been in Frisco my whole life, and I've been a very outspoken person on a lot of things that I felt like were important for me. And in that process, I've made a lot of friends, and I've also made a lot of enemies. But one thing that I've learned is that we can all learn and grow and become better people. Like for me, I've been in therapy for like 6 years.
Mental health is important.
Mental health is super important. I'm not saying like I'm a crazy person, but what I'm saying is like
I'm crazy.
It's really important. It's really important, especially for men, to like have a space to talk about our feelings and to grow, because we can actually become like incredible people, and be more confident in like who we are. And so I don't really know if that's coherent, but I just want to encourage everyone to like continue to work on yourselves, like be who you are, be grounded, because I've always been grounded, and I was raised to be like a good person, to be an activist, and to be someone who like speaks up for like homeless people or speaks up for people that don't have what I have. Yeah. But I haven't always done it in the right way. So I feel like continue to learn, continue to grow, and continue to like be humble, especially in hip hop. Like it's this amazing thing that is given to all of us, and just be humble in it. You know what I mean? And get back.
What are the social medias?
I'm really just on Instagram, and I'm on Instagram like a motherfucker, as you might have noticed. Bruh, I fucking post on Instagram like a crackhead. But Sake Wonderful, SAKE, #1 TERFUL. Like, you probably regret it, but give me a follow. I'm on private right now because of some weird stuff that happened with a bunch of white.
Sake with a $sign?
I'm never gonna hear the end of this. I'm just gonna get dollars. I'm gonna get the $sign emoji. Every post I make hella $sign.
Money bags.
Exactly. Nah, this has been hella fun, y'all. I appreciate it.
DJ Sake1, 108 at Free99 Podcast. Philly Phil Mono. Appreciate you, Sake.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Hey.